Hey there, I'm Mr. Classic. Welcome to another tutorial on SCTuts. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to mix an Amapiano beat in FL Studio from scratch. Now, the plugins I will be using will be made available as a preset in the description below. Alright, now hit the subscribe button and let's get started. So before we get started, I'm inviting you once again to my Telegram community where you get instant access to monthly webinars, how to mix, how to master, make melodies, and much more advanced lessons held for free once a month. You can even send in your songs, your tracks for review. You can also get access to my free kits, loops, and even ask me questions, and I'll be sure to answer as much as I can. Don't forget you can join me by clicking the link in the description below. It's completely free, no cost whatsoever. Now let's get started with the tutorial. Hey there. So we're going to listen to the song. Some of it are in MIDI and some of it are in rendered audio. Alright, so that's just pretty much the idea. It literally repeats all through, just like that. So we're going to start with linking the sounds we have. Will come to our playlist. You can, or rather our channel rack. You can simply do this to bring out the channel rack. Make sure you select all so we can see all the parts that are not linked. So this is our ambient melody. So this is going to be a little bit random in terms of how it's going to be linked to the mixer. And another sound again. Then we're going to select all the empty sounds now. Hold your control and shift. The ones with number beside them, we don't need to link them. They can just be, they're already linked to the mixer, so we don't need to select them again. So these are all selected. I think, okay, yeah, we need, okay, no, we don't need that guy. This is actually a beat remake from Ricardo Banks' song, or Zumba, by the way. So this is a remix. I'm showing you how to mix, since it's the Amapiano genre, I'm showing you how to mix it from scratch. Yeah, and this guy right here. So all we need to do now is select our mixer, and then you can leave a space if you like, Ctrl Shift and L. So now all we have to do is sort it out. We can sort it in the mixer right here to get our drums on one part of the mixer, then our melodies on one part of the mixer. So we're going to come to our drums right here and solo it out. So we're going to look at this. Let me make the mixer bigger. You can see our drums are scattered all over the place. So what we'll do is hold your alternates. When you select an insert, hold your alternate key and then your left mouse key. You can see it's going to push it across. So we're going to look at this guy again, push him all the way here, select these guys. This guy also looks like a drum track. This guy also alternates. I think those are all the drums. Let me check again to make sure. Zoom out. Except for the transitions, of course. Yeah. I'm seeing this rim shot right here. I'll take it closer. So these are the transitions. I think so. We can always arrange them as we progress. So now we have our track sorted out. It's still looking a bit random, but it's much better than the drums all over the place, because we may need to do some side chaining, some parallel processing, and we need them to be closer together so that it looks organized in the mix. And organized workflow makes mixing so much easier, and it can even help with accuracy as well. All right, now so let's get into the mixing properly. All right, so since we already have our drums sorted, I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to just solo the drums. It's already soloed right here in the playlist, and I'm also going to solo them right here, and then we'll listen to just the drums. Let me take this aside. All right, let's listen to just the drums. All right, so we're going to start with the kick. I already added some kind of EQ to tune the kick, to shape the kick to how the original song started, since it's a remake. So now I'm going to assume that's how the kick sounds. I'm not going to touch that initial EQ. So now this is where the mixing starts now. I'm going to solo the kick. Now for the kick, I'm going to look for low-end rumbles that you really can't hear, that inaudible, let's say from 30 hertz and below. I'm going to kind of like sweep them away, because most big speakers, like speakers in the club, they only hear to just about 30 to 25 hertz. So anything below that, you really don't need that much information in the low end. I'll make this bigger so that you can see the information. You can see there's just a little bit of information below the 30 hertz mark. So I'm going to select this type. I'm going to click high pass and order. I'm going to click step 6. I don't want it to be too sharp like the step 8, because it's going to cause some resonance there. So I'm just going to pick I think step 4 is even better than step 6. It's not too steep, but at the same time it has this round edge here to prevent resonance. So we're just going to sweep this across. And I think that's just fine. So next, we're going to move on to the next most recurring element, which is going to be the percussions, if any. All right, so that is the sound. Now we're going to EQ that out. Also looking for low end. This first round of EQ, I'm just looking for low end rumbles that are not part of the key frequencies. That is frequencies that are really inaudible, that doesn't make a difference when you take them out. That's what we're trying to take out when mixing these parts right now. So you have to be careful not to make it sound too thin or make it sound too dull. If not, it's going to, we don't want to change the nature of the sound. We just want to take out the we just want to take out the frequencies that are really not needed. And then we gain stage a little. All right, so next we're going to go to the next most recurring element, maybe a layer, before we head to the shaker. So I guess that's the sound. So we'll pan it a little further to the right. Rule of thumb when mixing percussions, you can take out away from 15% to 30% of your left or right mixing track. So it can be a bit more, a bit less, but that's a rule of thumb, between 15 to 30%. I think I'm going to EQ to take out unwanted frequency. All right, so next we come to the next recurring percussion sound. So this is a layer of this sound. So this is a low end. Let's take this back. So this is a low end percussion. So we have to be careful how we EQ it so it doesn't lose its true tone, at the same time it doesn't mask or cover the kick drum bass. So we're going to open our EQ right here and take out some low end here. And we're going to dip a little bit of the low mid frequency. Then reduce the volume a little bit. Since it's a low end, that is in terms of frequency, it's a low end element, it's going to be at the middle. We're not going to pan it left or right. But the snare could be panned a little bit to the left, let's say between 0 to 10%. Now it's time to pan our shaker loops, and then we'll EQ it. You know, for Amapiano, the shaker is usually more pronounced than most of the other elements, so we'll keep the shaker a little bit above the drum sounds. Alright, so now EQ. And mind you, because they are similar elements, they need to be panned in opposite direction, and they don't have to be panned to the same degree. One may need to be a little bit more to the left, and one may be, like, let's say one doesn't have to be 50% left and 50% right. One may be, let's say, in this case here, we have this one at about 23% right or so, and this is close to about 50% left. So they don't have to be at the same level of panning, just in opposite direction most times. Then now we can EQ to take out unwanted low end, because low end can really show that you're an amateur mixing engineer, and taking out, and also when you sweep out excess frequencies, it becomes too thin, and it also shows that you're an amateur mixing engineer. So we don't want any of those to be obvious. Just blunt that a little so it doesn't sound too sharp. Let me come to the channel rack. I think this needs to be increased from channel rack. Spark. Let's see. Well, if I can't find it right now because there's a lot, so I can just use a compressor. But I'm not going to tweak any compression, just use the gain knob and make it louder. Then reduce the volume a little. I think that's it for gain staging. I can always come back later and gain stage some more if I feel like it still needs some balance in here and there, but that's it for the gain staging. So I'm going to do something called parallel processing, or rather a group processing. So I'm going to select some empty bus right here. I think this is enough. About 4, 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter the one, but just a little bit more than 2. I'm going to hold my alternates and then make sure they all come close to my drums. Let's see. All right, perfect. So I'm going to select all of this. Select all of this and then link it. No, I'm going to select, all of this except for the low end element. And then here, link it to create submix. I'll name this percussion group. I'm going to add some processing that will make it even more interesting. So it's all greened out. So this is my percussion group. Then I'm also going to select this percussion group right here and then my low end elements, and then name this track routing, create submix. This will be my drum boss. Let me keep it in all caps. I'm going to color it, let's say red. All right, so I'm going to start with my percussion sound first. And I'll turn off this kick and the low end element. So I'm going to EQ them. Trying to tame any harsh high end first. Then adding a little bit of reverb. So I just wanted just a little bit of reverb, nothing much. All right, so I think that sounds good. And then next, I'm going to come to my drum boss. Turn these guys on again. So I'm going to use a compressor. I'll be using the waves compressor this time. Let's see. A waves compressor, so kind of like glue, just to glue the whole drums together to make it smack even more. Come here. I'm going to use the CLA76. This compressor adds that crispiness and smack to your drums. I need to be careful because it sounds loud. That doesn't mean it sounds better. So we can turn this down. Then we want the release to be a bit slower, and then we'll see how it sounds. Pardon me, the release will be a bit faster, not slower. That was a mistake. Then we increase the attack a little bit. Then we adjust the input. And now when you add a dynamic element like this, you may need to come back and gain stage someone, because this is going to kind of like, since it's a compressor, it's going to kind of like try and put everything on the same level, your shaker, your snare, your percussion. So you need to come back and do some gain staging again. Then I think my shakers are way too two panned apart, so I'm going to reduce the stereo width a little. Alright, I think the drums sound good, although a little bit more can be done. Let's see the EQ. Alright, so I think that's that for mixing the drums. I think the drums are sounding good. We can always come back and make some changes later. Remember, when it comes to mixing, there are no final decisions. You can always come back and tweak some things, but also learn to move ahead, because there's no perfect mix also at the end of the day. So I think this drum mix sounds good, and yeah. Alright, so let's move on to mixing melodies. So when mixing melodies, we're going to start with the lead, or rather with the chords. And for this song, the chords happen to be the lead melody at the same time. So I'm going to play it back, and we're going to listen to it and see how it sounds. And it's already linked to the mixer. So we can do some changes right here. First of all, turn down the loudness. Then these effects are added to get this particular sound to sound like the remake. So this is where the mixing starts from now. I'm going to do some EQ. You see, there's not much information going on here, so we don't need all that unnecessary bass build up at this place right here. And then we can try and add a little bit of shine to it. And since there's another layer right here, we're going to pan this a little bit to the left, let's say about 20 to 25%. Because this is a lead melody, we can't afford to take it all the way to the left. And so that we can have space for the second, that's for the layer that comes in. And so we turn on the layer. This is the layer actually. So we use our alternate and bring it closer to the chord right here. And then we'll EQ again. Turn down this loudness of this guy right here. Alright, I think in terms of balance and creating space with the panning, I think it sounds decent. So we're going to come to the next most recurring melody, I think it's the guitar melody. So for the guitar melody, we're going to turn this on. So it sounds it's really poking out of the mix, so we're going to adjust the loudness. And then we're going to EQ. All these other effects are effects that I pre-added when I was remaking the beats. So the mixing starts from this parametric EQ now. And as usual, I'm going to take out the unnecessary low end rumble. I'm going to add some high end to the guitar to make it sound brighter. I'm going to add some reverb to push it more into the ambient space. You know, my piano is mostly about ambient sounds. The melodies are not always dry and up in your face. They're more in the background. Increase the room size, adjust the low cut, increase the decay, turn out the bars. I think I should emphasize on the decay some more to create that long sustained ambient sound. Alright, so we're going to listen to it at this point and see. Alright, not bad, not bad. I think I'll add a little bit of phaser to the guitar to make it sound more authentic. Turn it down a little. I think that sounds good. I had to put it before the reverb. I want the reverb to always come last in my mixing chain. Aside from saturation, my reverb should always come last, so that all the sounds, it tails perfectly well. Not if I were to add a delay or a phaser after my reverb, it's going to manipulate how the reverb tail sounds. So I want the reverb tail to be perfect and smooth. So next I'll come to this other ambient melody that is here. So for my guitar, I forgot to do the most obvious, which is panning the guitar. Let's go back to the guitar some more. So I'm going to take it to the hard right and see how it sounds. That sounds good. I think it sounds good. Alright, so let's come to the ambience melody now. I'm going to do some EQ. then some more reverb to make it sound more fitted into the mix. I think that sounds great. Sounds much better than the previous. Then we're gonna come here. I think this guy is supposed to be here actually. And I'm going to move it all the way to where the other melodies are. Then I'm going to EQ. It's not going to be hard left or hard right. It's going to be a bit close to the middle. I need to add some reverb to push it in also some more. We want it to be more in the ambience. It's all about the ambience when it comes to Amapiano. Increase the decay. Then let me add a little bit of saturation. I think I can add a little bit of delay to make it fill up just a little bit more. Ping pong delay. Maybe make the timing, let's say 2 milliseconds, about two steps, and then listen. Let's take it before the reverb. I think that sounds better now. So we'll come here. So now we're going to come to these outro chords right here. I'm going to add some EQ. Add a little bit of reverb. That sounds lovely. All right, so now we're going to come to the bass elements, the log drum and the bass line. So we're going to start with the bass line first before the log drum. Let's see. Some EQ. Remember, when it comes to bass elements, we don't really need much below 30 Hz. So we're going to come right here, type high pass, other steep 6, then about somewhere around here. I think this ambient melody is a bit too loud. Now let's head on to the log drum. I think the bass sounds decent. I had to cut off some of the high-end information because there was really nothing much going on here, so I had to cut it out so I had to make space for other elements that had high-end information. Alright, I think for now that sounds decent, so we're going to move on to our transition. Let's move on to the transitions, that is the drum rolls, the fills, and the breaks. Alright, so now we're going to mix the transitions. We're going to start with this guy. We're going to come, you can see there's a layer right here. We're going to pan it slightly, pan this slightly, then reduce the volume of this. I'm going to EQ this. Then add some reverb so I can blend in with the beats. Increase the decay so it really has a sustain, long sustain to it. Increase the wetness, increase the room size. Then we turn these guys on. Alright, then we'll come to the next one of these layers. Then we'll turn the cymbal transition on. Alright, I think the transition sound okay. I think I need to turn this down a little bit. Alright, I think that sounds great. So I'm going to play the whole mix from scratch for you to listen to, and then we'll see how it sounds. Right, so I think the mix sounds okay. You can always come back like maybe the next day when your ears are more refreshed, and I'm sure you spot out some things you can adjust. You can spot out some things you can maybe reduce or increase levels of the loudness, or maybe the reverb tail, and you can also reference the mix on your headphones, on your speaker, on that listening device, and I'm sure you see some things that you can tweak and just perfect the mix. But overall, these are the essential steps you need to follow to get a great mix for your Amapiano. You can also use it for your other Afrobeat genres or subgenres, and you get great results. And don't forget, you can get all the templates for the mixing template for the drums, each of the drums and each of the melodies, pads, bass, and all of that by simply clicking the link in the description below to download it for free, and it's going to be useful to you while practicing your mixing sessions in your own studio. Alright, I remain Sir Classic. This is SC2. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join the Telegram community by also clicking the link in the description below. Alright then, cheers.